Today you need to think about what do you want to add to your koi fish pond. Here's some ideas. You could add bamboo. Bamboo has a deeper meaning in Japan and it means good luck. A lot of times people give bamboo as gifts. If someone was starting a new job or they were moving into a new home, you would probably get bamboo as a gift for good luck. And it also means strength because it is so strong. So I'm going to sculpt bamboo by rolling something called a coil, which is a long skinny cylinder. And I want to smooth it out a little bit and think about what size do I want my bamboo. And later you can add the texture and the little ridges in the bamboo. But first, let's kind of think about how many leaves you want to make, and I'm just making those by pinching the modeling clay in my fingers and making little skinny shapes coming off of it. And in my video, I'm not going to glue anything down, but you do need to glue it down. It'll stick today when the modeling clay is wet, but when it dries, it might just fall right off. So it's better to be safe and put some glue on your paper before sticking your modeling clay down. Now I'm going to use some Q-tips and lay it on there. I'm going to press it down. If I can get the box open, I'm going to press it down to make those little ridges in the bamboo. And I can kind of pull out the edges so I can create that bamboo texture. And I think it'll really look like bamboo when paint is added. But for now, this is a good start. Next up, cherry blossoms. Cherry blossoms are so popular in Japan. In early April, Japan celebrates the Cherry Blossom Festival for a few weeks to just enjoy how beautiful it is. Cherry blossoms also have a deeper meaning. They symbolize how life can be overwhelmingly beautiful, but also very fragile, because if you've ever seen cherry blossoms in the wind, you can see they can blow away very easily, or if a strong rain comes, they kind of get wilted and fall off. So they just talk about how we need to really appreciate life because it does go by really fast. And I'm sculpting the cherry blossom branch by making some wavy coils this time and adding lots of branches. And if this was my artwork, I would kind of imagine I'm seeing the pond from up above and a branch is stretching across the pond. So I'm starting with the branches and eventually I will add those cherry blossoms. For the blossoms, I'm just balling up little clays, and you can see I'm pinching it so the edges are a little rounded and I can stick it down, and then I will use my Q-tip in a little bit to make the petals stand out a little more and put dots in the center of the flower. And you're gonna have to make a lot of blossoms, so I'm gonna speed this up in just a little bit. But do you see how I'm just laying the toothpick down so those petals stand out a little more? And then I'll put those dots in the center for the pollen part of the flower. Lotus flowers also have a deeper meaning in Japanese culture. They bloom from muddy waters and they are so beautiful and pure, which symbolizes that people can rise up from difficult situations and still do amazing things with their life. To make this lotus flower, I'm going to make 3 spheres, a large one, a medium, and a baby one. And I'm going to show you that I'm going to make them into little bowl shapes, and that way I can stack them together so they look like the lotus flower. There's lots of layers of petals on the lotus flower, so that's why I don't want it to be flat. I want it to be 3-dimensional, coming out of the pond like lotus flowers do. So make those 3 little bowls And remember, they're getting smaller so they can fit into each other. But don't stick them together yet. You'll find it's very sticky and you might have trouble getting them apart. And then you will sculpt the petals. That one was a little too big, so I just pinched it off, made a sphere again, and made a tinier little bowl. All right, now I kind of want to imagine where my petals are going to be. So I'm going to use the toothpick and kind of lay that out, but you don't have to do this step. And then I'm going to pinch the petals out for the bottom layer. Do that step for each of your little bowls. I'm only adding details to the center of the smallest flower because that's the only center you will see. And then layer it together. And then you can glue it to your paper. And you can see this is what it looks like from the side. And we know that koi fish symbolize courage because they swim against the current. So even when things get hard, they keep going. I'm going to try to think of how the koi fish would look if it was three-dimensional. So we already know what it looks like two-dimensional because you drew one. So I'm trying to think of a curvy koi fish shape and sculpting it and pushing and pulling it until I have gotten it that way. So I know eventually I can add more details with my toothpick, but for right now I'm trying to just move the modeling clay around so it's shaped like a koi fish. And I'm pulling out the little fins instead of pinching them off and pushing them back on again, because sometimes I feel like it's a little stronger if you can just push and pull the clay rather than have little pieces that fall off. So that's what I'm doing for the fins. And I need to think about, okay, what does the mouth look like? I don't want to forget those little mustache things. So you're going to see in a little bit, I'm going to pinch off a little of the tail because I don't have extra clay. So I'm going to get a little from the tail and then make those little mustaches because I don't want to forget that. So, and then like I said, eventually we can sculpt the texture, but first get the shape the way you want it. Next up, we'll let our sculptures dry and then we'll paint them next week.